Hey, what's going on? Thank you so much for watching. It would mean the world to us if you could just scroll down, like, hit the subscribe button for the Snaps YouTube channel. It goes a long way towards helping us out. Now, let's dive into some college football. What do you think success looks like for the Ted in year one?
I think success for Alabama, for the fans of Alabama, is to make the playoffs. I think for them, if you don't make a 12-team playoff, that how you view yourself, you kind of got to take a look in the mirror a little bit of like, oh my God, like we've always considered ourselves for the entirety of this 14 playoff. We are one of the best 4 teams in America. We should be in there, and they've made it almost every single time. Like Alabama has been one of the constant ones to make the 14 playoff and compete for a national championship. If you're not even in a 12-team playoff, I think it's a major shot of what was built. I mean, that's the thing. Nick Saban built this incredible dynasty, and the hope was that even if when he did decide to move down, that the bones were so strong, the structure was so strong that it wouldn't come crumbling down to the effect of, hey, we're a top 2 team, and then we drop out of even a 12-team playoff. So I think for them to feel like that the entire thing is not crumbling beneath their feet, I feel like making the 12-team playoff is almost a necessity, or all hell could break loose.
I agree. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's very simple. Royal Payne says the good thing for DeBoer now, 10-2 in the SEC gets you a 12-team playoff. That is it. It is 10-2, 12-team playoff. You don't have to win it. You don't have to win the SEC. Nobody's going to fault that. But Alabama fans are also not ready to suffer 3 losses in a regular season. Not at all. I don't think that's happened since Saban's first year, right? I think one year they had 3 losses, but I want to say that third year came on, or excuse me, the third loss came after a bowl game. Yeah. So no, I think it's pretty cut and dry. What I think is interesting is to watch why different guys leave for different reasons, right? In Caleb Downs, you had someone leaving quite simply to get paid, the easiest of all motivations to understand. But then you also had the true freshman tackle, Kaden Proctor, leave. And his story's a bit different. Now, I'm not naive. I know Iowa is paying Kaden Proctor, certainly, right? And maybe it's even a little more. But Proctor wasted no time once Sabin retired. Like that, he is one of the ultimate examples of a guy who chose Nick Saban because I think of what he thought he could do for his career going forward, right? You want to make the NFL, you want to have a high chance of becoming a first-round draft pick. Well, people who play for Nick Saban, that generally happens. So as soon as Nick Saban leaves, suddenly home is calling once again, and Kaden Proctor goes back to Iowa, a school that he was committed to forever, that he grew up loving. The number that he wears, I can't remember which Iowa lineman it is, but it is honoring one of the Iowa greats. Like it's and it's an interesting lesson for coaches to learn, because if you hear Proctor talk about it, the Iowa coaches never bailed. Yes, Razor says Proctor was an Iowa committed till signing day, right? Yes, he was. And then he flips on signing day, and the Iowa coaches, while they said it fucking hurt, basically said, hey, man, look, we get it. Wish you nothing but the best. Just know we're here for you. And, you know, the transfer portal, who knows? Just leave a little seed. Who knows?
You have to.
And Proctor even said that when he was struggling this year, that the Iowa guys still had his back and were still putting him up. So now recruiting never really ends. And if you miss on a guy in high school, especially if it's a home, because you have to look, you don't have unlimited time. You got to commit your time. But if you have a hometown star that leaves the state that you knew liked you, but left for other reasons, stay in touch with that guy, because you will have inroads if he gets homesick or feels unhappy. And now now Iowa gets an elite offensive tackle in Kaden Proctor.
Well, and that's why I remember after that SEC championship game, Kirby went right up to Caleb Downs and gave him a little high five and hug. Like you have to, and had a big smile on his face. I mean, the dude that just lost to Nick Saban, Alabama again. The guy that lost to his biggest rival when it comes to being the greatest coach in college football at the time, had a big smile on his face as he shook Caleb Downs' hands and kind of, I don't know what he said to him, but you were always, and this goes back to what we talk about right now, like you always have to be in the selling mode. Players, alumni, boosters, money, whatever it is, like you're a car salesman today. That's all you are. You're a car salesman that's making $10 million a year. to sell your program, to sell recruits, and to raise money. And you have to stay in touch with them. But when it comes to Alabama and everything they lose right now and getting to that 9-3 or 10-2, excuse me, dude, I know they got a lot of, like, there's no doubt, like, they had 70 plus guys on the roster that were 4- and 5-star guys, but you've lost a lot of guys that weren't just 4- and 5 stars or 5-star recruits, but were starters. So yeah, you may have a bunch of 4- and 5-star guys in the background, but you're talking about replacing a lot of inexperience right now with a
You're
lot of
still better.
inexperience.
I mean, you're still better
So
than
you're
everybody save for
star-wise,
Georgia
you
on your
are.
schedule. Yeah.
Texas.
Are they on the schedule as well? My bad. Yes. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. Sorry, I just made that up. I don't know.
Zach Pitcher says Alabama's not going anywhere. We're going to dominate like we always do. We will beat Georgia like we always do. We will beat LSU. Roll damn Tide.
Let me say this too.
Well, CP, you better hope you're right, bud. Because
I will say this too.
Guess whose smiling face is going to be just sitting there in the fucking mud, waiting, just smiling, just saying, come on down here. Let's wrestle a little bit. Let's hop in this KY jelly together. You see what it's like down here in the muck with the rest of us.
For the one time I played Alabama, I'm sure the multiple times that you played Alabama, there has always been a sense of confidence. And then they kind of walk off the bus with this swagger of we're the intimidators, we're the bullies, we have Nick Saban. And you know this, and I know this, and all football players know this. Like, confidence plays a big factor in the games. Like, if you walk into the stadium and you feel like, we're the bigger, better, more physical team, that plays. And Nick Saban is just beat that mentality into Alabama for 2 decades now. And there's that confidence that we are led by Nick Saban. We have built this strong, mentally tough football team that's going to go out there no matter what and kick your ass. That's why we say, like, Alabama, it's a 4-quarter game. Like, they will never mentally give up. You got to be ready to fight for all 60 minutes, regardless if they're up or down. Do they lose that edge? Because now there are other teams that are as talented, Georgia, Texas, and maybe some that are close, LSU, Ole Miss, but you don't have the Nick Saban swagger. You don't have
they've
Nick
lost
Saban
their
confidence.
invulnerability.
You lost that kind of that mysterious edge that everyone looked across the field and said, "Oh shit, that's Nick Saban over there." Like, that ain't there anymore.
Lil Nicky may have been small, but he did have some big dick energy that he would infuse upon the entirety of the team. Mike Darius says Caleb Downs is down to Ohio State and Alabama. Pick Sabin and Sabin left. Why are you acting like it was just a bag? Well, let's be clear. Out of high school, I think Ohio State and Bama probably had the best offers on the table monetarily, and then he ends up going the Saban route because it's Nick Saban. And so then when he leaves, yes, of course he's going to re-enter the marketplace. And why he picked Ohio State over Georgia, I would say, was because of a significantly higher offer. I don't that's not disrespectful to anybody. Caleb Downs doesn't need to be playing at Ohio State for the love of Ohio State. And it's not demeaning Ohio State's pitch. As I said, Ohio State, along with Alabama and Georgia, have been the outliers. Like, they live alone from a recruiting perspective. They do a hell of a job in that department. It's just modern football. If you can pay guys, you're going to go where you get paid the most.